Yeah, that happened. That happened right there. Did you see that? Did you see it? Did you see it? Did you see it? Look. Look. Look at this. Look. Look. I made this video, right? I recorded it, right? And it doesn't have any sound. And look, here I am explaining that in the last video I used my magician deck, which is probably one of my more favorite decks. So here I'm showing you that I was going to use my ever so popular lava golem deck, and I use god cards and stuff, right? So I sat there and I explained how I was gonna go through, right, and make this deck. Look, and I did all of this work, right, to sit there and make this deck, which was fantastic. Mind you, this is a real deck that I made. I've got the physical cards, right? So I sat there and I made this deck for everybody. Like, look at that. Look at that. Look at that pretty deck. Look at it. Just look. Just look. Right there. Look at that. I did this thing, right? And I was like, hey, I'm going to go ahead and get into a duel. And I got into a duel with this guy, right? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to duel. And, you know, I did okay-ish. I eventually ended up, you know, what's the word? I lost, right? Right there. I lost. But I gave this guy so much hell. Look, I had 2,900. He had like 1,900 life points. I lost. I was like, oh no. And I made a whole video on it, right? Whole video on this duel and like my deck and everything. And there's no audio. There's no freaking audio, man. That sucks. So, how are we going to fix this? Well, the best way to fix this, since we goofed up, or not we, I goofed up. We're gonna play another round. And we're gonna play this round right now. So PvP, unranked, because let's be honest, oh no, available unranked games, there's none. I wonder if everyone is doing a ranked duel right now. Oh no. Tournaments? And I made such a pretty deck too. Oh, no. 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 Can't believe this. Alright, well. Oh, okay, so I'm in the chat right now. And, I'm gonna just show y'all. It looks like it went down. That's what's going on right here. It looks like the dueling portion went down. And, oh man, that sucks. IRM the sad. Let's take a look then at my other duel real quick, and what I guess I'll do is we'll go ahead and we'll take a look at it, and I'll explain kind of my madness that I was doing. So when I got in here, I was lucky enough to actually win the rock, paper, scissors contest, because I always pick rock first. If you see me on here and you watch and you know that you're playing me, be a jerk and always pick paper. Anyway, I set a bunch of cards down. I set Blazing Mirror Force, Nightmare Wheel, and Gravity Bind. And what those do is it helps me prepare my stall, because I've got 2 Lava Golems and Marie the Fallen One in my hand. So Lava Golem, what it does is it allows me to do effect damage to my opponent by summoning it on their side of the field by sacrificing 2 of their monsters, which is kind of the whole idea, right? Gravity Bind allows me to stop all level 4 and higher monsters from being able to attack. So my whole idea was to get my gate blocker out so that I can stop his field spell, and from there kind of control the field. That's the whole idea. Now I probably need to put back some cards that I took out of this deck, like my penguin soldiers and stuff, to really do that. Haha, sucks to be you. But what I'm going to do here is set my scapegoats. There are 2 reasons why I have 3 scapegoats in my deck. The first reason, obviously, is to stall, because you can put them in defense mode, and as long as your opponent doesn't have anything that does piercing damage, which is eat through defense, you're going to be able to have 4 meat shields summoned to your side of the field, so that, you know, nothing terrible happens. Or, as you saw, I do play with the Winged Dragon of Ra. And the reason why I play with the Winged Dragon of Ra is because there are times where you need that extra oomph, and I have so many cards that gain life points. So I've got Marie the Fallen One, and I've got Draining Shield, and Draining Shield is amazing because if someone attacks me with a high attacking monster, I get those life points. Marie the Fallen One, as long as she's in my graveyard, I gain 200 life points every one of my standby phases. So that's the whole idea, is with those life gaining cards, 1, to stall out my opponent and make them not very happy with me, but 2, also so that I can summon a big Winged Dragon of Ra, because his effect is you can spend up to all of 100 of your life points and put that toward his attack and defense. So here I'm activating Gravity Bind because he has a monster that is a high attacking monster. Now I'm going to tell you, this is where I do make a mistake in my next turn, and it's because I went ahead and put Gate Blocker in attack mode to stop his field spell. I should have left it as is. But here's the Lava Golem. Now that the Lava Golem is on the field, even though it has 3,000 attack, I'm not worried because I have the Gravity Bind, right? And I put Nightmare Wheel on him. So that means every one of his turns, he loses 1,000 points. Every one of my turns, he loses 500. So it's a double burn. And that's the whole idea, is to get that double burn. So right here, I'm sitting here thinking, he's probably tired of me. And we haven't even started yet. Now, on this turn that I summoned Lava Golem, I should have put my Gate Blocker in attack mode, because at this point of the duel, I was really controlling him. And again, I'm gonna have to go through and re-edit some of my cards, because there were a couple of cards I had replaced in order to put in other cards, because the more control that I have, the better. But Gate Blocker was one of the cards. DD Crow was another card. I took out a Penguin Soldier, which Penguin Soldier allows, once it's flipped, to return 2 cards on your opponent's side of the field to their hand. The cool thing is, and I haven't tried it yet, but if they have a Lava Golem, my Lava Golem on their side of the field, I'm pretty sure that goes back up to my hand, because it says on the opponent's side of the field to their owner's hand. So I would assume that's how that would work, and it's fun to play it that way. Because then you just bust out another lava. It's like having an extra, like a 4th Lava Golem right there at your disposal. So I decided to put down Mask of Weakness just in case, and this is where I kind of get cocky. This is where Gate Blocker should have been in face-up defense mode to stop his thing, but I didn't do it that way. See, he's got a Link monster down. Link monsters and Exceeds monsters don't have levels. Exceed monsters have ranks, which means they can attack over Gravity Bind, because they're not leveled, they're ranked. And Link monsters don't have a level or a rank, so they can attack through Gravity Bind. And that's why I put down my Mask of Weakness. I was like, well, if I'm going to go ahead and take a little bit of damage, it's going to be a little bit. You know, I wasn't thinking. He ends up synchro summoning for a monster, and he's able to start bouncing things back and destroying my back row. With a control deck like this, once your back row starts going, it's monster effects. You need to have good monster effects. As you can see, I have Marsh McCarran. I've only got 2. That's what my playset is. I want a 3rd Marsh McCarran. I haven't been able to find one yet, and the whole idea with Marsh McCarran is once he's attacked, you can bring out 2 more Marsh McCarrans, either from the graveyard or the deck. So, obviously you can only use that once per turn, but imagine you've got a Marsh McCarran that you've sent to the graveyard, and you've got 1 in the deck. And you can summon 1 from the deck. On the next turn, you summon 1 from the graveyard. It just becomes this infinite loop. And I've done that with Marsh McCarran. When they're on their last attack, they attack into my Marsh McCarran. It comes from the graveyard from the previous time. It works. It works that way. So he's taken out my Gravity Bind and my well, he took out my entire back row because he's got really good spot removal. So from here, I'm kind of at his mercy. And I tell you what, I'm looking at those 2 monsters, and I'm sitting there thinking to myself, they're gone next turn. But first, he's going to battle me. He's going to take out my Gate Blocker, and this is the first 1,000 points he does to me. Mind you, for like half of this duel, that's all the damage I took. And then I went right back to controlling him. He attacks my Scapegoats. I get Black Sheep tokens in defense mode. And obviously, you know, with the Black Sheep tokens, now they're my wall, right? And that's the whole idea, is I want my wall all set up, right? So I've got 4 Black Sheep tokens, which he dispatches 1 immediately, because he had a free attack, so I've got 3. If I had the Winged Dragon of Ra right now, I would have a 6,900 attacking beast and I would have won. But I didn't have him in my hand. So what I do, since you can't normal summon or set after summoning Lava Golem, I sit there and I'm like, well, I can either special summon this Lava Golem now or not, but I'm doing it. Because the more I can take off of him, the better. So I set my Mask of Weakness to mitigate whatever damage I can. And I look to see what I can special summon, which was either Gaia Saber or my Wee Witch because of the 2 monsters, and I'm just not going to sacrifice my Black Sheep tokens like that. That's a bad idea. So now that we're back in control, I know that I have at least one turn before I can get something going, because I have Marshmallow right there in my hand. And the whole idea with Marshmallow, he's not destroyed by battle, which is actually kind of cool. So if Marshmallow is attacked into when he's face down, he costs your opponent 1,000 life points. Right? And that's the whole idea. So he's battling, and once he starts battling with my lava golem, that's when I know, okay, he doesn't have a whole lot left. So he uses super polymerization in order to sacrifice my black sheep tokens for probably one of the best generic fusion monsters you can have for polymorph. And I'm sitting there like, okay, well, I don't have any worries unless he can do more spot removal, which by this point in the duel, you know, he's gone through probably a third of his deck, and I've gone through definitely a third of my deck. So I'm not sitting here thinking that he can do more spot removal right there on the fly. At least I thought. So I have 7,000 life points, and he does so much damage to me. But the first thing that happens is I get him down quite a bit. I really thought I had this duel won. So he sacrifices. I love the you're about to win music, or your opponent is doing way worse than you are. So I'm sitting here, and he's really got to think about this. You know, he's kind of in this really weird controlled bind, and it's where I want him. I want him in that weird controlled bind, right? So, here's what happens. He takes my Marshmallow and he puts it back into my deck. So I decide, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and hit him with Blazing Mirror Force, because hell no. Screw that. I'm not going to lose. I will do damage to myself, because Blazing Mirror Force takes all the attacking monsters, the sum of their attack, halves it, and deals that damage to both players. So I'm sitting here thinking, and I should have put down my Des Koala. It's either put down my Des Koala and do 400 points of damage, because it does 400 points of damage for every card that the opponent has in their hand, or risk him attacking or spot removal and put my Marsh McCarran down. Because regardless, if Marsh McCarran goes to the graveyard, I'm getting out another Marsh McCarran. So if he does spot removal, I might be okay. He does something worse. He puts it back into my hand. Or into my deck, I can't remember. But at this point, I'm really thinking, there's no way. There's no way. Right? Well, I was wrong. So he gets out his other Link monster. He links for it. And he really is. He's putting a lot of thought into this. I put a lot of thought into this. And in the end of the day, he was the better duelist. And I made a couple of errors. One, my gate blocker. I didn't put him into attack mode and then switch him back to defense mode when I should have. And also, my Des Koala and my Marsh McCarran, I mishandled those big time. So I did end up losing the duel. But, you know, we learn from every duel, every mistake. I'm going to eventually duel with that deck again and try to do it, have a different result. The cards that I removed from my Lava Golem deck, I'm going to put in as my side deck, which is something that I'm just going to do just so I can have them there and then really expound upon my strategy. But that was this loss, and I'm going to lose more than I'm going to win, and that's okay. People are sitting there playing with brand new strategies. I'm using the same old tired strategy, but this gives me a chance to really work on my old strategies and make them better. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next exciting episode of whatever brain candy has going on.